Hey you guys, I'm Harsha with Dash. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a co-founder at Dash, where generally it just connects to your tools and helps you get work done. I'm here to give you guys a personalized guide to how to personalize your emails with AI. So let's get started. Just to start off with, one of the key things that I always see problems with when people try to do personalized outreach at a scale is they don't know who the fuck to email. So one of the number one things you gotta do is make sure you know who your ICP is. If you don't know who your ICP is for your product, there's no point in scaling outreach. It's kind of useless. You're kind of stuck. Something I like to do is just be like, ask Dash. Sorry, let me just ask Dash what the ICP is for Dash. And I just ask it, can help me brainstorm. But ideally, you kind of have this idea already. AI is only serves as a kind of a tool to help you. But yeah, but remember, when you're doing scaled outreach, the goal is to kind of get the same templates and kind of adjust it each for each person. But you can't really have a template if you don't even understand their pain points. And to do that, you need a clear ICP that you're targeting for each campaign. So make sure that you guys think hard about your ICP and know who it is before you start this, because otherwise you're going to be wasting a lot of time and a lot of money. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, it's just getting there. See right here, this number one for the dash is here. You can see a few different ones. One is just going to be enterprise teams and knowledge workers. So that's teams not as business professionals, and three is growing companies. For this one, we're going to just do growing companies. The reason isn't because there's very easier one for personalized, it's just because I have the contact list already for growing companies. So once I have this, the next thing I'm going to do with my ICP, there's two ways to do it. One is you could just be like, yo, Dash, find me some contact information for people at growing companies we go to reach out to. But I'm going to be honest, Dash is okay. It can get you 20 to 30. So if you only want to do 20 to 30, we'll do it fine. But if you want to get 1,000, there's better websites. So actually what I do is I go to my site, this site called theboomerang.co. Let me type it in right here. And I just go get leads. Hopefully you guys don't just like steal my login information here, but with it, once I sign in, just trying to put you guys on some game here. So really, I love it for everything I do with leads. Um, I can just use it to export like Apollo data, Hunchbase, Sales Navigator, etc. with contacts and leads. Now, if you guys don't know what these are, pretty much with Apollo, Hunchbase, Sales Navigator, these tools to help you clear down your ICP. So like if I go into Apollo right now, let's see. Oh wait, I have a new computer, so I actually don't have it exactly on here, but pretty much with Apollo, it allows you to filter by certain filters like industry, role, company size, etc. And like right here, you can see this is a list of companies that are Series A that have 10 to 100 employees, and I'm getting their CEOs. And that just gives me 1,000 people automatically. I paid $3 for it. Definitely a steal. Also, yeah, when you start into automated outbound, you can't really penny pinching. It's going to cost you a decent amount, but ideally your ticket size is large enough. So if you're selling contracts that are maybe $20 to $100 a month, it's not worth automated outbound usually. You need to find other ones for social media and stuff. But when you start getting into like 4, 5, 6 figure contracts, and even like having one successful email in a week makes it worth it for automated outbound. But anyways, once you get your leads list, that's like the huge part right there. Then you got to start about actually writing emails and templates. So again, there's a few ways to do it. The way I like to do it is I like to brainstorm ideas and refine them with Dash. Other people though, like if you're lazy or you just can't think of an idea, you can always use Dash to kickstart it. So like right here, if I just make a new Dash, can you help me come up with an email sequence for targeting Series A CEOs to sell them Dash. And now Dash will come up with something. It'll be okay. Don't get me wrong. I've used Dash before to do it and I've closed deals. I still personally just love the human touch, and I think people can tell, especially with all these AI SDRs. Don't ever pay for the scams. Um, I just like to do it personally myself, and then use Dash later in the personal template. But you can always use it to come up with a template. So like right here, so you can see here, there's like a few emails it comes up with, and it comes up with a sequence dash. This is something that key that people mess up when they're doing outbounds. You always need a sequence strategy. You need to not just send one email, you need to send typically 3 to 5 is great. We actually have an 8-step sequence, but we use some special stuff that I don't want to share in here. But if you guys reach out to me, I can always be willing to tell. And the reason for multiple steps is that, like, think about how many times you actually respond to emails the first time. And so don't feel bad about sending multiple emails. You're not being spammy. If they didn't want the emails, they could respond and be like, no. Um, and yeah, so like usually what I do is I do one email just to introduce Dash. The second email is a case study. Then I do the third email just to check in and be like, hey, what do you think about this? And then by the third, if they're not responding, like they're probably not super interested. So the fourth email, I'd be like, are you sure you want to receive emails? Let me know if you don't. So it's kind of asking them for permission to keep going. And if they don't say anything, I think there's a permission to keep going. Usually after the fourth, I do switch platforms. So I use a Twitter or LinkedIn, and then I go back to email. Um, I wouldn't recommend that unless you guys have money to burn. We're lucky enough that I'm trusted with a lot of money, so you can definitely burn a few money doing these things. If you guys can't, I would just stick to one platform, email, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever. Now, once we get these templates, we get into this personalization points. That's the key thing here with Dash, is that these templates are based on normal cold emails, which are not personalized well at all. And that's why people usually click out, because they're like, oh, anyone got this email. Like, I don't care about this. This is not meant for me. So you can see like right here, like you see like here, where it says congrats on Series A, so announcement. Yeah. Question now is getting passed. See, like, these are things that everyone knows and everyone sees and doesn't really matter, right? So, like, it's not going to be something that's special. But instead I can show you an example of someone like, I mean, actually just for today, let's just see like, who did I meet with today again? I haven't checked what their name was it. Who did I meet with today? Now, it's going to come up with check the calendar, see who I met with. Full disclosure, I do know who I met with. I'm just going to like just show it this. Um, and yeah, I found this and then let me just be like, can you come up with 5 super personal details about them? So I asked Dash to do this. It's going to do some deep research. And this is like a key difference from like just doing a Google search. Like Dash will come up with sources that you and I wouldn't be able to find if I just look up this person's name. And it'll help me automatically personalize emails in a way that's just not possible otherwise. But this isn't even something that we found out ourselves. We had a real estate intern just reach out to us. He was like, I use Dash to help with personal emails. Can you help me? And I was like, that's crazy. Why would you do that? And he's like, oh yeah, I went from 70 emails to 200 emails in a week. And then pretty much 4x his like close rate too, because he almost more than doubled his email rate and he had more responses, which is kind of insane. And as you can see here, right, like with Dash, it does a people search, does some web searches as well, and just really does an in-depth thing. And now it's finding some other people as well. Now this is a thing where like with AI, you always gotta make sure to prompt it, right? So I think it came up, it must have been, yeah, it was looking at my earlier meeting and not just the SWOT meeting today, which is fine. It happens with things. But this kind of deep research is the key element for me. And now you don't need to use Dash. You can use Perplexity. You could use a ChatGPT, etc. I just use Dash because I use Google Sheets for my contacts and HubSpot, so it integrates well and automatically does it. But feel free to use those, and it allows for a lot more personal details than just asking a chat or like using an AI SDR for stuff, and at least for a lot higher, closer. So yeah, the one thing is you gotta make sure to pop it because you can see it's getting a little distracted, but that's okay. Um, Wow, it's so resulting. We can just start going into like doing a new tab actually. How I can do this, but let's see. Just for example, for like a personal user, let me see. I I'll just use my co-founder Panchali for this, but like let me see for personal email Panchali by dash. Use one of the code templates I have. Use one of the cold emails that have gotten a reply that I've sent before. That I sent before as a template. And then go on some key details of the specifically for her. Okay. Yeah. So the reason for I said try to keep it short and brief for this prompt here was just because you often see with AI that can kind of yap, and no one likes that. Like, you're writing a quote, you want to keep it 30 to 50 words max. Um, and this is actually what, like, each person does it differently. I think instead of talking to, they use Dash, they would just send it, they would raw dog it, which was crazy to me because they send some bad emails, but they get a higher quantity than I do. What I do is I use Dash to draft and then I review and send. Just because I don't trust AI fully yet, and I like to send every email with high quality. But if you have a bit more trust in you just want to get more quantity out there, you can just go and tell it to send it automatically. Um, but yeah, now that I did this, Dash was gonna just go research and hyper personalize it and send it. And that's like one of the key things though is that once we get this email made, I can kind of explain is that how to know your email is a good hyper personalized email and not a bad one. Um, while this is going, let me check the other tab and we can see some details. So you can see like right here for this one, this is actually a meeting I had earlier today. Um, he was a really good meeting, nice guy. He says he dropped out of U Chicago, gone to IC. He created this AI after failing clinical communications test and couldn't afford expensive tutoring. And he said, yeah, so you see like right here, these are some key details, like being in a frat, right? That's like something that like if you saw that, you'd be like, this guy like actually wrote about me, he researched it because no AI would find that. Or if you'd be like rejected from U Chicago's accelerator program, another one. Um, and you can see like these are these key details that like you can't just use an LLM for, you need a research agent. So Perplexity again is another good one. X is a great one. I love Exa. Or you can use the first my product Dash for it. And it just allows for people to be like, holy fuck, this is a really well written email. And to be fair for me, because I use this with Dash too, people will sometimes be like, oh, did you make this with Dash? And then they'll be like, yeah. And then it helps with me buying too. So that's another helpful for me. Is just using your own product when you guys are making these things is always a good way to get a sale closed. And then, yeah. So then now you can see right here, this is the thing, is the template used to set a founder. So Sean, let's try to positive response. Yeah. And then through my presets and it says the draft is ready for you to review and send. And I actually like to see what this draft looks like. Can you show me draft? Yeah. And so it says, yeah, right here it says reference to scaling data extraction services. It's about a previous startup. Dash and it says positioning on your challenges. And this is something that if you use a traditional template, you could never get this much nuance into. And it's what allows you to hyperclose. So if someone opens your email, they will feel like you are reaching out specifically to them and help close it. Which is why, especially, I hate it when I see young startups don't do these things. Because it's like, you don't have customers. The only reason people's going to trust you is because they like you as a person. Like, there's bigger names out there, but they're not going to pick them. They're not going to pick you because you have a better product. It's like, a business wants something that works, and most startups are guaranteed to fail. They will pick you because you're personal. They can talk to you. They know who you are. And you should really lean into that, which is why these hyper-personalized emails do help close rates. But yeah, this is kind of a short demonstration. If you guys have more questions, just reach out to me on the email that sent this. And yeah, that's about it. I'll probably improve the production quality the more demos I make, but it was a good start. Let me know any feedback in the comments too. Thanks guys. Bye.